Nebraska lawmakers are being asked to answer the question, who gets to use which bathroom? Today was the first of 2 days of public hearings on a set of highly contentious bills up for debate in the unicameral. Today's focus was on LB 730, which would require schools and state agencies to designate bathrooms and locker rooms by biological sex assigned at birth. That hearing lasted nearly 7 hours, finishing just before 8:30 tonight. 1011 Starsha Dodge was there and brings us all the details.
This hearing marks a first. People had to pass through a metal detector in order to get into the room, which is important to know because this is the only time that people have that they can come sit face to face with their lawmakers and plead their case either for or against a bill. Only around a dozen people testified in support of Kauth's bill, but dozens and dozens more testified against it. Omaha Senator Kathleen Kauth brought LB 730 back this session as her priority bill. This bathroom bill was stripped out of her Stand With Women Act that passed last session. Kauth saying bathroom segregation by sex is common sense and attributes pushback to, quote, a level of empathy that has become toxic.
When we discuss biology, there is no doubt that there are only two sexes, male and female. If we truly believe in science, there are no other options.
Her supporters echo the sentiment.
Our laws and policies should recognize and respect that males and females are biologically different. Respecting these biological differences is essential to ensuring the privacy, dignity, and safety of both sexes.
The dozens testifying against Kauth's bill say the bill is overtly working to eradicate trans people. Multiple opponents reiterating it's not always possible to know someone is trans, adding Kauth's bill ignores the lived experience of the community.
It erases transgender and non-binary people in law by forcing everyone into male or female definition for state purposes. This bill is unnecessary because it seeks to solve a problem that doesn't exist, while documented harm to trans people is real and measurable.
A.T. Miller of Out, Nebraska, even saying, quote, when we are doing our business, it's nobody's business, especially the state. Kauth's bill is not an outlier in American politics. There are more than 600 similar bills regarding treatment of transgender people across 36 states.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to react to this Senate hearing where Kathleen Kauth is speaking about her bill LB 730 that bans people from using restrooms based on their gender identity. The bill restricts people to the restrooms that align with their biological sex. Perfectly reasonable, I would say. But she's speaking about the arguments that have been put forward, the tactics that have been used to discredit this bill, to demonize this bill, even accusing this bill of promoting genocide. She's also introduced LB 731 that allows doctors to be held accountable when they are engaged in this so-called gender-affirming care, and LB 732 that restricts hormones and puberty blockers for anybody under the age of 19. All great bills if you ask me. So Kathleen Kauth explains very eloquently why this bill was so important and why these arguments simply will not work. So let's take a look.
There's 193 proponents, 513 opponents, and 3 in the neutral.
Thank you very much, Chair and Committee. Thank you all for sticking around. I do know Senator Meyer went to the steak dinner, so we'll have to give him some heck about that. Lots of interesting testimony. This bill is clearly about privacy and safety based on sex-segregated spaces. This bill deals with facts, not feelings about it. And I was really almost stunned. There was such a distinct disregard for every other person in those intimate spaces.
So they're specifically discussing LB 730, which prohibits transgender people accessing restrooms and locker rooms based on their gender identity.
We heard testimony saying, well, this doesn't happen in Nebraska. It's not happening in Nebraska. You have people from outside Nebraska coming to testify. I had people from Nebraska here testifying. I had a dad almost in tears talking about how this impacts his daughter. And that was completely disregarded. Not one single testifier cares about the girls and women in those bathrooms other than themselves.
No surprises there. They tell these girls that it's bigotry for them to be uncomfortable with these men in their bathrooms. They tell these girls that they have no right to be uncomfortable. They completely disregard whether or not these girls consent.
That's very disappointing. There are a lot of hysterical comments about genocide. This is not genocide. This is saying that the fact is there are two sexes, and the person talking about the archaeological digs proved it. After thousands of years, you can still tell an XX and an XY. They're different. Protecting people who are trans-identified should not translate into putting females in harm's way. The deflections from dealing with these bills and talking about property taxes, I hope people understand that all of us do many, many more bills. We are all busy with I think probably 10 bills each this session. There are 545 new ones added in this short session. We introduce the things that our constituents talk to us about.
The nerve of these people. First of all, she made an excellent point where she said, why should women and girls be endangered just so certain people can have their gender identities affirmed? It takes away all protection for women and girls. There's no justification for that. And it's a clear message that the women and girls do not matter. And then another common argument that comes up, which is very, very disingenuous. Oh, there are more important things to worry about. Why aren't we dealing, with the affordability of eggs? Oh, we should be concerned about other things while children are being chemically castrated. I don't think so. Girls being left open to SA, predators being allowed into women's bathrooms because of silly policies that says a man can enter into that space. And if it's not that important, then why are you even objecting and calling it genocide if it's not that important? It's important when it suits them. If it's not that important, then we could say that everybody should enter into the bathroom based on their biological sex or use a gender-neutral space. Very simple. And then we could have moved on from this a long time ago. So unimportant, they've turned everything upside down to accommodate people's fetishes, to accommodate people's so-called gender identities. They're even willing to change the English language and deny the true meaning of words. That's how unimportant this topic is. They're policing people's language. People have lost their jobs because of so-called misgendering. People have been deplatformed. So don't tell me that this isn't an important issue.
Let me tell you, my constituents and most of Nebraska call me about this. Last year during the LB 89 hearings, and the rest of the time we were getting that bill out, I had about once a week a parent or a student call me and ask me, what can I do? My school is telling me I'm the one who has the problem. That's not okay. I had parents pulling their kids from school. And when we look at how many people comment or how many people show up, the parents who I talked to and the kids I talked to were scared. I had a mom who reached out to me with an anonymous email. She went to great lengths to disguise the fact that she did not want anyone to know what was going on. It took several conversations with her by email before she would finally trust me enough to do a phone call and talk with her about her specific school. The pressure to be supportive and to not say that this bothers me is huge.
And that is by design. They have been conditioning people for years to not speak up, to be too afraid to speak up and say, I don't agree with this. I don't want this for my daughter. Conditioned people to believe that it's bigotry to say that. They've conditioned girls to believe that it's wrong for them to be uncomfortable with a penis being in the locker room, being in their locker room. To be uncomfortable seeing a man undress in front of them or to not want to undress in front of a man. They've told girls that their natural instinct is wrong. Their natural survival instincts are wrong. All complete lies. Nobody wants to be ostracized. Nobody wants to be labeled. Nobody wants to be accused of genocide. It doesn't surprise me that these parents are afraid to speak up. And then even people in their own families, even their own colleagues, their own friends turn on them. But thankfully, people are waking up now. Most people know that a man cannot be a woman. Most people know that men shouldn't be going into girls' locker rooms.
And if we're worried about people, how people feel in bathrooms, why is it that the people who belong in that bathroom of that sex are not also listened to? We heard girls saying, yes, my daughter, well, the dad said my daughter would hold it all day long because she was told she would have to go find another place.
Yeah, girls getting urinary tract infections because they're afraid to go and use the bathroom. Because they don't want to encounter a boy in the bathroom. No matter how much you tell these girls that this is a woman in the bathroom with them, this is a girl as well, this is just a trans girl. No matter how much you tell these girls that, they have eyes and they can see exactly what is going on. They're not going to see these boys as girls ever, because that's not what they are.
The boy who wanted to come into her bathroom was granted full rights. He could also go into the boys' bathroom.
Privilege.
She was the one who was punished. That's not acceptable. We had a lot of people talking about brain drain, and this is going to chase people away. And I would maintain that taking a stand and saying biological sex is an important distinction in this state might be comforting to some people. It might make some people say, hey, you know what? I like that. I think my family will be better protected there. I look at what's happening in Colorado. In Colorado, there are 4 senators putting together a bill to remove parental rights from someone who does not affirm their child. And that's what my LR for this summer is talking about. We are at a critical moment in our society, and we have to determine which is more important, actual facts or transitory feelings about those facts. And I know a lot of people, this is a lifestyle, or this is something that they will deal with permanently, but it's their issue. It should not be infringing on other people's rights. So with that, I'm open to questions.
Wow, very well said there. And this is not something that we should even have to discuss. This isn't even something that should be up for debate, because we know what it is to be male. We know what it is to be female. That's not going to change regardless of how somebody identifies. And we shouldn't be endangering women and girls and children, turning everything upside down to adhere to an ideology that, quite frankly, not everybody believes in. The girls' bathroom should be for girls and the boys' bathroom should be for boys. There should be no crossing over in any capacity. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.